This is entirely possibly the cheapest paint protection product you can get on the market today. I mean, it's really close. And I'm talking about a proper protection product. This is a pot of wax. It claims that it contains carnauba wax in here. Actually, it does say it contains carnauba wax. But is it any good? Well, I've got to try it. I've got to test it. I've got to smell it. I've got to taste it. I've got to see how good it is with water, with chemicals. How does it compare to other products that are actually nowhere near the price, because I cannot find another dedicated paint protection product close to the price. That's all coming up in this video, but first I've got to get the intro in. So welcome back to the channel. My name is Specky. I test all manner of different car care products, detailing products. I talk about how-tos, reviews, and all these other kind of things. If you're interested in that kind of thing, then please do drop the channel a subscribe and a like for the video. We really would appreciate that. Who's we? It's just me. It doesn't really matter. I also have a podcast if you guys are interested. We talk all about car care, detailing, and so on. It's called the Specky and Paul Talk Detailing Podcast, where I have a podcast with my good friend Paul Dolden. He's also a YouTuber. Check out down in the link in the description below to go and have a listen. We would really love to have you guys along. Anyway, let's get into the meat of the topic here. It's this paste wax. ArmorAll Paste Wax. It doesn't have a fancy name. It's just called, some of them are called, double speed wax or super gloss wax or all these kind of things. It's just called paste wax. I want to talk about what it says on the label just very quickly. It says that it's specially formulated. It's a specially formulated blend of waxes designed to be applied to the paintwork, providing incredible water beading. Incredible good or incredible bad, we don't know. Incredible water beading protection and shine. So contains carnauba wax, creates a water repellent barrier, and helps provide lasting protection. So does it provide lasting protection, or does it just help to provide lasting protection? It's funny how the wordings of these all go. Anyway, this is a really good size of pot. It cost me £1.99. That's why I'm talking about this being the cheapest dedicated paint protection product. £1.99. I can't think of anything that comes anywhere close, to be perfectly honest. The next one, I mean, you could find a really cheap sprayable wax, but honestly, they're not the kind of thing, although it could be a thing in the future, I guess, that I'll try. But honestly, this is from a reputable brand. This is ArmorAll. Everyone knows ArmorAll. It looks good, doesn't it? I mean, it stands out. It jumps off the shelf. It's nice. It's got a picture of a shiny car on there, and, it's orange. It's always a good thing for me. It's my favorite color. Let's have a quick look. Let's examine it inside. I have to admit that it's kind of stiff. This is a plastic jar. Now you can see here, that looks like cream cheese, okay? And it's also stuck to the inside of the lid there as well. So it's kind of interesting. Let's have a sniff test. We always like to know what things smell like. And honestly, there's some, a bit of perfuming going on there, but yeah, it's very chemically. It's very chemically. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Lots of waxes have chemicals in them to help them spread, and then they'll evaporate away. They have certain carriers in them and things like that. But it's not entirely unpleasant, but as you've seen, it's relatively soft. Let's just go from the lid here, and you can see here, it's the consistency of cream cheese. Those Philadelphias and things like that. It's got that kind of consistency. It's not very stiff. It's very wet, and it's squishy, and yeah, it's just a wet paste wax. Now, you compare this, excuse me, I've got to grab a towel here for a moment because it's horrible. When it comes to regular paste waxes, they tend to be quite hard. I've got one here. This is the Meguiar's ceramic and graphene paste wax, and you can see there, I know maybe it doesn't look all that soft, but it's definitely a hard paste. I couldn't push my finger into that, and there's practically nothing on my fingertip, just the barest amount melting from the heat in my fingers. So it's not the kind of thing that you would expect to see. If you're into car care and you know your waxes, then you'll know that they generally are hard looking. I mean, this is my own one here. This is my own wax here, you can see. And this one is a very, very glossy, very buttery one. It's a very oily one, but still, it looks hard in comparison. I know it's actually quite soft. I can push my fingers into it. But it's not as soft. It's not like a cream cheese idea. So most waxes at the softest would be like this, in my opinion, from those that I've seen, and I own quite a lot of waxes. But this is not really what I would call a wax. So it's an interesting idea. It could be some sort of sealant, a sort of creamy-based sealant. Does it really matter? Not necessarily. But that is what it looks like and what it feels like and what it smells like. How much do you get? Like I said, it was £1.99. I forgot to mention just how much you buy. You'll get 300 grams. Some of them measure in grams and some in milliliters of poured wax. But this doesn't look like a regular wax where normally in a jar like this from the turtle wax one here, it's usually a liquid wax that's poured into the jar and allowed to set hard and then to put the lid on it. And this is more like a sort of creamy gunge that they've squeezed, extruded, splurged into this pot and then stuck the lid on it and job done. So it's weird. I mean, it doesn't pour out. It doesn't move around when you shake it violently or give it a strong evil stare. It doesn't do anything, but it is kind of wet. So anyway, I'm going to compare this against 3 other products which are good value for money for what you get and for what they do. This is Built Hamber Double Speed Wax. For those of you in the know, you will know about this stuff. It's a phenomenal product. It's usually about £15 retail, up and down, prices may vary. This is a very much a hard wax in the pot there, really hard. You're never going to get your finger in that. It's a solid block. 15 quid. This stuff is very, very powerful. It's a mixture of carnauba wax and polymers. So there's a bit of everything there. So it's a hybrid wax. The next one is a spray wax, and this is just a spray carnauba wax. It's not a hybrid. This is Vonix Native. So this one is just a Brazilian carnauba spray wax. It's not their hybrid. They do have a hybrid version of it. I can't remember what it's called. But this one is, it's all talking about on the label here, the purest type 1 carnauba wax from Brazil. So this is a sprayable wax. Because it's a proper dedicated wax, will it perform better than this paste wax? Who knows? And then the next one is a sort of hybrid. It's Autoglans Prism. And this is a hybrid ceramic wax. It's sprayable, as you can see. And the idea with this one is you can apply it wet or dry. I've featured it on the channel before in a sealant test, and it fared very well. So it's the kind of thing you can spray onto a dry car, wipe over, or you can spray it onto a wet car and either wipe over it and dry it off, or you could spray it onto a wet car and then rinse it off, and you'll get a boost of hydrophobics. That's what I'm testing them all on today on my freshly polished test panel. So I'm going to separate this off into sections and we'll go through the application process and find out, is it any good to apply and how does it compare to some of the others, and then we'll take it outside and give it a water and chemical resilience test. Right, hi up there. I'm going to be applying the products with these sponge applicators. They're all identical, they're all clean, so it'll be one side per product, so 2 applicators, 4 products. And we're just going to apply them as the manufacturer directs and then buff them off and then take them outside. Really, really simple and straightforward. So let's get started. So here's the application, and as you can see, the ArmorAll is relatively easy to spread. No real difficulties here at all. Really straightforward, just a quick line down the middle and spread it thinly and evenly. No real difficulties, which was a nice surprise. And the buff off was just as easy. Honestly, I was really surprised. I've had other waxes which were cheap and were really difficult to use. So pleasantly surprised here. This is the Built Hamber with a slightly dampened applicator. Very easy to use, slightly sticky and draggy, but no real issue there. Give that another good even application and leave that to buff to dry. And then here we've got the Vonix. Super easy, like spreading water, and you don't need to wait, just buff it straight off. Probably the easiest product here so far. Really, really straightforward. And then the Autoglans, which felt slightly thicker and a little bit greasy, but absolutely no problem to apply. Very easy to get it on the panel and very easy to take it off again as well. And then back to the built amber to buff that off. No real difficulties, very easy. Here we go. Let's have a quick slickness feel test. Alright, so that's the ArmorAll. That doesn't feel too bad. Here's the built amber. That's about the same. No real difference there. The Vonix. That feels so much slicker. I don't know why, but that feels slicker. And then the... Oh! Whoa. Then the Vonix. Not the Vonix, this is the Autoglans. Yeah, it's the slickest of them all. For sure. These two are about the same. Then this is a bit more slick, but I mean only just. And then the Autoglans Prism is definitely the most slick. Right! Time to take the tape off, take the panel outside, and do my favourite bit, which is the water testing and the chemical test. Haha. Now, quick freeze frame here, you'll see that the built amber section is the only one that had a really good, obvious darkening effect on its section. Everything else was fairly nominal. So the built amber had the best look, but the ArmorAll had no real change. Let's move on to the water test, and you can see here everything is performing pretty straightforward and simple. Everything looks like it's all been waxed. You can see there though that the Vonix and the built amber are still running those beads away very quickly. The Autoglans is a little bit slower, and the ArmorAll is hanging on to a bit of that water. I haven't buffed off the tape sections from in between here, so I haven't wiped anything off. It's exactly as it came out the garage, minus the tape. You can see there though that the Vonix and the built amber do seem to be the most hydrophobic so far, and that's just with the rainfall. We'll have a look at the sheeting test now. So I'm flooding the panel, and the ArmorAll is performing as well as I would have expected, to be honest. There is some protection there, but it's a bit slow. The built amber, really fast, always expected. Then moving on to the Vonix, this one is just a spray carnauba wax, and it performs better than I ever imagined. Really good alongside paste waxes. And then the Autoglans is a little bit of a sheeter. You can see there it hangs on to the water for a wee bit, but then sheets off really nicely. Here are the beads. So this is the ArmorAll beads, actually quite nice looking if you like beading shots. That's not bad at all. Moving over to the built amber, went a bit far there. Built amber, nice and round and even, yeah, like those. The Vonix for a spray wax, very nice indeed. Really good beading there. And then lastly, the Autoglans, not quite as round, but still respectable. Now on for the first wash, everything gets a top to bottom, bottom to top, and a quick rinse off. And you can see there the ArmorAll has slowed down just a touch, not a huge amount. Everything else is going to be working as it was beforehand, usually after the first wash. For those interested, this is Garage Therapy's Zero Decon shampoo in the bucket. 50 milliliters of shampoo to 20 liters of water roughly. You can see there that the Autoglans, the Vonix, the built amber haven't really been hit, but the ArmorAll has taken a very small hit. Second wash here, you can see the built amber is already pushing some of those chemicals off. The ArmorAll, it's still going quite well. Like it's sheeting nicely. I can't really argue with that. It's sheeting away well, so it is still showing that there is protection there. You can see the Autoglans, it floods, but then it sheets really quickly. So the ArmorAll is still doing well. This is 2 washes in, and genuinely, I can't complain about this. And this is a powerful shampoo. This is a high alkaline shampoo. The third wash, I thought for sure that the Vonix had suddenly taken a big hit. The ArmorAll is starting to slow again, but it's slowing at a decent pace. It's not dying very quickly. It's slowing as expected for a £1.99 wax, to be honest. In fact, I think it gets better performance here than I ever would have credited a £2 wax for. The Autoglans, the Vonix, and the built amber all working absolutely fantastically. But the ArmorAll is just starting to slow a little bit more, but it's slow, it's steady in its slowing. Everything else still working really well. The Vonix is maybe taking a slight hit, The auto glands, maybe just the smallest hit, but nothing really to worry about too much there. One more wash. You can see the built hammer is still pushing some of that chemical off, as is the auto glands and Vonix at the very top there. The ArmorAll is slowing again. Fairly steady, though you can see it still wants to bead some water. It still does want to repel. And that's great. For £1.99, don't be complaining about this. Don't be annoyed about this. This is actually really good. I expected this to die after the first wash. There you go. The sheeting, it's still happening. It's still going at a decent speed. Built hammer, no change. Vonix, maybe a slight slowing there on the auto glands. Maybe just the slightest amount. Alright, from my experiences, and these are just my experiences, remember, you don't have to always just listen to me. I do always press this. Don't just listen to your favorite YouTuber or reviewer and let them tell you everything you want to hear. Actually go out and listen to others. I have a friend who is also doing a similar review, same product, doing something of his own style. That's Darren over at the Hairy Housewife YouTube channel. I will leave a link down to his channel below. I suggest that if you're interested in this, you want to find out more about it, also go and check out his results, because we do our tests differently. It's always a good idea for you to learn the most that you can about a product. Don't just trust me. I'll come to that in another video though. But honestly, for $1.99, I cannot say don't buy this product, because for me, it worked. It actually worked quite well. Now, yes, it's not going to be as good as a £15 wax, but that £15 wax is so much more money than this. This is a £2 wax. There's a big difference there. Even, you know, buying this and using it regularly, I mean, it's okay, there's nothing wrong with it. Applying it is easy. Buffing it off is easy. It's no more difficult or no easier than any of the other products that I tried here today. But honestly, for the money, I would suggest you pay a bit more if you're looking for decent protection. But if you're walking down the aisles of Home Bargains, which is where I purchased this from, and you've got a spare £2 rattling around in your pocket, you could do worse than buying this, especially if you've never actually waxed your car or given it any kind of protection. Then honestly, to get you started in your journey of car care and detailing and that kind of thing, and you want to put a bit of paint protection on your car just to help bead up the water and to maybe make the dirt stick a little bit less to your panel and things like that, you could do a lot worse than this. Yes, like I said, you know, for the money, personally, I'd buy the Built Hammer Double Speed Wax or the Vonix Native Spray Wax, but that's £15. The Vonix, that was £19, and the Autoglands Prism was around about £19 or £20, I think, roughly-ish. So they are more money, but $1.99, why not? There are worse waxes for more money on the market, so think about that one. But like I said, don't just listen to me. Go and check out Darren's channel down below and see what he has to say as well. However, I want to thank you guys very much for watching. If you found this useful, please smash that like button. If you are new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss my next video uploads. But in the meantime, I've been Specky. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.